Hello and welcome to Mom Day. Today, as we complete 1 year of our lockdown, I light this light for all the lives we have lost fighting the pandemic. Exactly 1 year back, we had started going on a lockdown, and this year again, as we decide to go for a repeat lockdown, many people are filled with mixed feelings. But I believe this is a time when we need to look back as to what the year has given us and what it has taken from us. And as we do that, I feel all the world's a screen and we mortals merely viewers. And I believe this has been so for the last year. And so we should not consider the lockdown as a lockup. And it is an opportunity we all are getting for some deep work. And like I was reading this book by Cal Newport, and I found it very insightful. And this mentions about the psychiatrist Carl Jung, and that was about 100 years back, when after coming back from India, he saw that every Indian home had puja room, a place which was dedicated for meditation, for connecting with ourselves. And so when he went back, he constructed a stone house for himself in a lake away from the entire city, where he could forget his clinical practice for some time and just meditate and go into deep thought. So I believe this is a time for us to go back, move away from interaction with what we call society. Yes, we all are social animals, but if he could do that and come up with some beautiful work related to analytical psychiatry, if Mark Twain could do that, because what is known, when Mark Twain wrote his Adventures of Tom Sawyer, he used to be so far away in his isolated room away from the family that their family had to blow a horn to call him for lunch and dinner. And similarly with Woody Allen, of the 44 years he spent writing his 44 works of art, which won him 23 Academy Awards, he was away from the limelight, away from social life. And so with J.K. Rowling, she was not on social media till she had finished her entire series of Harry Potter. So maybe that's something we can tell our kids, that yes, we are having an overdose of social media, and somewhere we need to put a line to what is the limit we can go to. Because if we have to go for deep, uninterrupted work requiring concentration, we will have to limit the social media we are exposing ourselves to. Like what if you say, like what are the distractions you face in a day, and what exactly have you become? So it's something like, I would say, you can ask your child, if he is trying to sit down and read something, if you say for half an hour, in that half an hour, what are the fragmenters of his concentration that he is facing? Okay, I'll say one will be his Facebook, the second will be the WhatsApp. You can think of someone like he's trying to see the screen, and then it is Facebook coming, and next minute it's WhatsApp, the third is Twitter, then comes Snapchat, then comes email, then comes YouTube, then comes a Zoom meeting, then comes LinkedIn, then there is of course an online gaming happening, then there's some online shopping happening, and then there are some spam calls happening for loans and plots, and then there may be some actual call from your best friend or your best friend's best friend, or it may be from some other guy, or some regarding your someone wants to talk to you about a new hair dye. So it is something you have to see, what have you become? Have you become a Ramu Kaka or a Shantabai holding her mobile instead of that famous dusting towel on your shoulder and always ready with a Ji Hazur? So that's something, or in fact equated to that you want to go deep sea diving, or you're going snorkeling, and every time you're going deep sea diving, there is this one thing, maybe the WhatsApp or the Facebook or some distraction which is pulling you up. Now you cannot reach the depth of the ocean and enjoy it unless until you have an undivided time for yourself. So please do yourself a favor, buy yourself some fancy box, put your mobile in that, and maybe put up a message that you are only available for maybe 2 hours, which you decide, for the general public. So I guess that is very important, and that is how we can optimize our performance and what we can do best with our skills and whatever we have and what we want to achieve, or what we can guide our children to, because this is what I experienced when I was, the last few days I was taking the exam, and I realized children who are so intelligent and who had all the time in the world in the last 1 year to do some self-study and learn the subjects in detail, they could not do justice to it. They just could not do justice to it. So I know March is a month for most moms, it is filled with anxiety about exams, but very important for you to just tell your kiddo that there is this importance of not letting such fragmenters of your attention divide you and your ability to achieve your dreams, what you're going for. So that was about my M. And for March, of course, this whole March I've been marching with this thing. So M is again what we Indians have given to the world and people have learned from us. Let us not forget that meditation is not just spiritual, it could just be the ability to concentrate and give our best and go do some actual deep work. And A is for being animal friendly. I don't know how many of us have been able to fall in love with the animals around us, be it the cow, be any animal, a cow or a horse, or the birds around us who have obliged us with their sweet sounds all through the year. I hope we can put up some bird feeds for them. And R, of course, is the respiratory quotient that I want to talk to you about. And I was just wondering and discussing with my family as to what do we feel is the best currency, or the best currency we could have in the world. If the world would have one currency, or the best investment for our children, do you think it would be the Bitcoin, or do you think it would be shares you would want to invest in, or would it be property, or would it be gold? For me, I had gone that day to buy 30 saplings from the government nursery, and got each sapling about 3 feet tall for 8 rupees. 8 rupees, which is less than the cost of a ticket to any government hospital. And imagine, with one sapling, with each sapling is going to be an oxygen factory for us. And if I plant those 30 saplings every month, imagine how much oxygen I can provide. But that got me thinking as to how much oxygen do we actually need in a day. I don't know whether you can see it clearly. So I can tell you as a doctor and as a teacher that with every breath we take in 100 ml of oxygen, 100 milliliter of oxygen, and in every minute you are breathing in 12 times. So you are taking in 1200 ml of oxygen. So in every hour you are actually breathing in 72 liters of oxygen, and in one day you are breathing in about 1700 liters of oxygen. And in a year, you, one person alone, is breathing in more than 6,20,500 liters of oxygen. What the internet says is something equivalent to like a person would need a room filled with about 10,000 leaves or about 500 plants to produce the right amount of oxygen. Now, can you do that? It's not practical. Or it's something like if there are 3 families living in a block of 6 members each, they would need 1 acre filled, densely populated with trees to provide them the oxygen they need for a year. Are we providing the earth that opportunity to give us that much oxygen? Have we in the last 1 year planted so many trees that we can have good oxygen? And oxygen is the main thing we look for when we are falling sick and we are knocking the doors of the hospital. and we are desperately, what people have been fighting for is just to get some good fresh oxygen inside them. So I guess this is a time for us to look back how many trees we have planted, because it can never be too many. It just can never be too many, the number of trees we plant. And we can look at whichever tree we want to, not just shrubs. Please go ahead. We need to actually bring that change and do it right now. Besides this, of course, well, just to complete my thing about March, we have talked about meditation and being animal friendly, and about the respiratory quotient, how we can improve it through trees, and maybe practicing our exercises and yoga which our ancestors have given us. And besides that, what else can we do? Of course, there are certain I was just looking into my garden and I found some. Where have I kept those? I had some nice, I put them in my drink, some mint leaves, and they're fresh herbs. So I feel it's very important that we start growing some good herbs in our garden and create a herbarium for all of ourselves, because this herbarium can actually help provide all the herbs which are simply loaded with nutrition for us. And mint, or mentha as it comes from the Greek word, is named after a nymph and who was actually converted into the mint plant. And this is not just a source of breath freshener, or it was also used by the Greeks to strengthen their arms. They would rub it on their arms. They would just scatter it on the floor, so that when people are walking, the smell of this when they trample on these mint leaves, would fill the air with freshness. And so this was a sign of hospitality. So when we are locked down, I think so when we say we are fresh as mint, is something we can do, and prepare lots of good drinks with the mint. And besides, it's also used for treating stomach ache. In Indian culture, we do that. And we have that pudina ka pudin hara, and inflammatory bowel syndrome also is something which is used. It is used for, and there are lots of uses for this mint. But I prefer it besides stuffy nose, and for asthmatics also they use it, and moms, they also use it for decreasing their breastfeeding pain. I always love, with the summers approaching, to have a nice drink. And since in my garden I had some fresh, I could gather some fresh mulberry. I'll talking about it next time. So I've mixed a mulberry and a mint drink for myself, and cheers to lockdown. We're going to have a good time, just spending time with the family and taking care of ourselves. So that is, I think so, all for today, and hope you all take care. And as I sign off for today, I would like to end with a small poem about our fragmented lives that we are leading, courtesy social media. So what something I would like to say, what fragmented lives we lead when finally we sit down to read. Of the dozen hours I dream to clock, a dozen distractions in my mind do flock. I guess I fail to fathom and gauge the amount of time these fragmenters engage. So what I am left with at the end of the day is a fragmented dream that got killed midway. So stay safe, stay at home, and all the very best. Take care, and let's have happy times as we march forwards from March 22, 21. Bye. Take care.